Hey everybody, I'm in Denver, Colorado, actually Lakewood, coming to visit my VW Golf Resto project, which is in the capable hands of Sterling Chase. And it's been going too slow, so I'm going to crack the whip on this guy and come on, what's it going to take? This is the home of Sterling Autoworks, Sterling Auto Works in English. We've got about a Mark, what is this, 4 or 5 Golf.
Hey, what's happening, Randy?
Come on in, Sterling.
Come on in.
Hey, my brother.
How are you?
Good to see you.
Hey, likewise, likewise. Thanks. Come on in.
This is your new place.
It's a new digs and everything else. Definitely do apologize for the heat.
Air conditioning. This is nice. Luxury.
Gotta love the swamp coolers. Definitely keeps gotta keep on going. So.
All right, I recognize this. Wow, check it out. That is my original Volkswagen Cup Golf from 1985. I bought that car new, and it's been a race car its whole life. It's been a long, tough life, and it's been sitting for more than 10 years. And I charged Sterling here with getting it running again and keeping it vintage. He wanted to do it right. I said, no, I want it to be vintage. I want it to be, in a lot of ways, like the Volkswagen Cup car I had, maybe a little more power. Shh, keep that quiet. Cleaned up.
Yeah, got it all cleaned up in the engine bay. Wednesday of next week, we're gonna pick up the donor, and then we got the motor. We're gonna be yanking that out, and after that, we're gonna have a build party. So we're gonna spend 2 days, just gonna have a good old time and just putting everything together. So.
A build party? I might need to come back for that. Okay, and what's the donor car for? What do you mean?
And we're going to be taking the 2-liter ABBA out of that. It's
ABBA, what's a 2-liter ABBA?
It's from like 93 to all the way up from 98.
It's an engine.
Correct.
This is for our viewers. I didn't know what an ABBA, well I know ABBA. If you change your mind, take a chance on me, la la la. Okay,
so the transmission's over, is over with Mr. Gas transmissions and getting them rebuilt. So we got the brake track differential, everything else. We have a five-speed manual transmission that came from a 85 GTI.
Good. So it's got the 367 final.
Yes, sir.
And then the close ratio, 5th gear. Mm-hmm. Good.
So we got all the
85 GTI gearbox is exactly what I want.
There you go. So
yeah, the Rabbits were too short a gear. They had like a 390, and the 5th gear would rev out at 100 miles an hour. They're like tacked.
Yeah, we're not gonna have that for you.
We need a little more gear.
A little more Yeah.
So what do you think the horsepower is going to be on this build?
We're looking at probably like around 120, maybe 140, like horsepower for
wheel?
the torque. Possibly
crane.
Wheel, but we're looking at for crane. And then we're also looking at...
Come on, folks, this was 1985. When I raced this car, it had, as I recall, 90 horsepower crank.
With 120 foot-pounds of torque, I believe.
Really?
120, 115.
Great.
The same motor as my Scirocco.
It took a long time to get to 100 miles an hour.
Yeah,
that's what I recall. In fact, it wouldn't do much more than 100 without about a 3-car draft, which we did a lot of back in those days. It was a fun race.
I believe it.
Okay.
So we got that lined up, and then also we wanted to say thanks to the folks over at Bilstein. We got their suspension and everything else, and then we're also going to get some springs and everything else all figured out. So
that's fantastic because we had Bilstein on the Tesla Unplugged Performance Model Plaid that we ran at Pikes Peak. So it's all in the family. Nick there is a good buddy.
Volkswagen, das Auto.
Now Now tell me about what injection are we gonna have on this engine? We're not gonna run the original CIS, right?
Unfortunately not, just because that we're going to be
It's too old. Go ahead, say it.
It's not
Too
necessarily too old. It's merely like we're dealing with a mechanical fuel injection system. It's like almost like carburetors, so you can almost need another technician to go with you to make adjustments. So we just want to make this very simple, easy. Let's drop right in. It can learn, but it's still dumb enough that it can still do a lot of fun things and everything. So yes.
Good, I can learn, and I'm still dumb enough to do fun things. So that's perfect. All right, and so we're going to run a next generation electronic ignition system.
Yes.
Like from the 90s.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, this car was originally in '85, and it had one of the last CIS, which is a continuous injection system, which was really hot stuff in the 70s. In the 70s, it was great, but by the 80s, it just wasn't good enough anymore. We had to go electronic. We're going to have 90s level electronic fuel injection.
Exactly.
Okay.
Just because we're here at 5280 feet below, above sea level, and I know that the vehicle might be going down at sea level, so we're just going to make it easy enough for the computer to be able to learn and do its thing and everything else without having a technician be around. So
great. Yeah, it's going to Atlanta eventually. Okay, that sounds really cool. I appreciate it, Sterling.
No, you're very welcome.
What about the body? It looks so much better than I thought it would. This thing has been through hell, frankly, people. Not that bad. Right here is where you put the Sterling Auto House sticker. Right on this section right here.
Nice.
Boy, I got memories in this car. This was my very first race car, people. And then I sold it to my buddy, and then I think I had this seat in it. Not in the first season we had to run a stock seat, but in 1986 we ran in IMSA in the Champion Spark Plug Pro Stock Series. I won 6 races that year. Missed the championship by 1 point. And that's a whole nother story, but it was good competition with these guys called the Hacker Brothers. And boy, they were good. They had 2 cars, they'd run together. The car's light. We're gonna just run stock brakes, right?
Kind of. So we're running stock front and rear disc brakes. We're going to be using Mark IV rear calipers because they're aluminum versus the cast iron calipers. We're going to use the front calipers also for the Mark III. So we're going to have a little bigger brakes, but have over 2 bearing. And then also we're going to be using the subframe, the control arms, and then also the rear beam to give you almost a 1 inch, a half an inch on each side wide.
Wider track.
Exactly.
Okay, in the back.
In the back and also in the front.
Yeah. Sterling, what if we ran a bigger tire size in the front? I found that to be a hot tip on front wheel drivers to keep them balanced. Not a lot bigger.
We can definitely do that.
10 or 20 millimeter tire size.
We can definitely probably do that, or we can also because I'm also experimenting with the window the welly wabbit by putting a little bit more wheel spacing on the front. So the fronts will be a little bit more wide track out, and then the rears will be a little bit more narrow.
Yeah, that's the same kind of idea.
So yeah.
Wider front track, wider front tire. You just size the tire to the load. I mean, Porsche 911, you don't put the same size tires all around on a Porsche 911. Weights in the back, powers in the back, driving the rear wheels on a Porsche. On a VW Golf, weights in the front, power in the front wheels. Why not make the front wheels bigger? Yeah, I love it. We'll take it a step at a time, though.
Exactly. You gotta do like a Johnny Cash song, like one part at a time, right?
Yeah. I got it one part at a time, and it didn't cost me a dime. About 3 octaves lower, that would be Johnny. Okay, that's exciting, Sterling. I appreciate it. I'm gonna stay in touch with you on when that build party is.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And then I might come out here and be part of that.
Oh, that would be super fantastic.
Maybe I should.
That'll be great. That'll be fantastic. And then, also too, the owner Mike Potter over at Hardcore VWs has also been helping us out and trying to figure things out, especially on the spring rates, and then also the transmission, and also with Greg Sayers over at Mr. Gas too. So we'll make sure to fill those guys out.
Great. No, we appreciate everybody that's helping bring the old Golf back to life. In fact, the last race this car ran was the 24 Hours of Moroso. an SCCA Enduro in about 1999 or 2000. So it hasn't run in over 20 years.
Oh my.
Like before you were born, Sterling. Well, almost. So thank you very much. This is great to get a report on the car and see that it's coming along. We're going to probably do vintage racing with it, maybe something like the Lucky Dog series or Champ Car. I'm excited to think of this car being alive again and being my original race car from 1985.